Hey guys, welcome to another episode of ESP Tutorials. Today I'm going to teach you how to use this 7 segments display in your projects. Well, first thing that you should do is to check whether your component is a common anode or common cathode. And if you don't know how to do that, I have special episode just for that. Link is going to be somewhere in the corner. So in this case I am using a Node MCU ESP32 microcontroller. And we have 8 pins from this microcontroller connected through 220 ohms resistor to segments pin on a 7 segment display. And ground from common pin is connected to the ground on my microcontroller. So now I'm going to transfer this video to my screen so I could explain this scheme a little bit better, and then we are going to do coding. So first thing that I should mention that I couldn't find original Node MCU ESP32 microcontroller part on Fritzig website, so I just used this one. So for the sake of simplicity we are just going to pretend that this one is original. So what we have in here, so with pin 23 I have connected segment A of my 7 segment display. With pin 22 I have connected segment B. Then with pin 21 I have connected C. Then we have pin 19, I believe, yes, it's pin 19 connected to D. Then to E we have connected pin 17, then pin 05, I believe, yes, pin 05 it's connected to F, and G is connected with pin 16. And with this black wire, ground is connected. And of course on every segment pin we have a 220 ohms resistor. So this is really simple setup, you shouldn't have any problem in order to replicate this. And now we are going to start coding. So I'm going to close this, open your Arduino IDE, and let's get going. So first thing that I want to do, I want to create a list of 8 integers, call it pins, 8 of them. This list is going to represent our pins. So our pins are connected on pin 23, on 22, 21, 19, 18, 17, number 5 and 16. I've set everything in proper order. So segment A is connected on pin 23, B on 22, C on 21, D on 19, E on 18, F on 17, G on 5, and decimal point is connected with pin 16. And now I want another list of bool values, call it state, and also 8 elements. So in this list we are going to keep states, so whether our segment is turned on or off. And now I want to define 3 functions. Turn off, void verify, and void filter. But in here we are going to have few arguments, so int number and bool db, meaning decimal point. With void turn off we are going to set all of states to false. With void verify we are actually going to perform switching. And with void filter we are going to provide 2 arguments, a number that we want to show on our display and whether we want a decimal point to be turned on or off. And now I'm going to create one structure that is going to describe how our numbers are actually going to look like. Let's say struct nums. We're going to call it nums. And now we are going to describe everything as a list. So list that is going to represent number 0 on our display is going to hold 6 elements. Because for number 0 actually 6 segments are turned on. So, and that is segment 0, segment 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you compare these numbers to list of pins, you are going to realize that only one is missing, and that is segment G, so the middle one. With 0 we don't need middle segment. So now I'm going to fast forward this coding, and later on you could check these numbers. Alright, description is done. Now let's do our void setup. So in here, first we are going to set pin modes. We have 8 pins. It's pin or pins? Pins. Pins with index of I. Output. All right, and finally I'm going to call function turn off to set all of states to false, and I'm going to do verify to turn off all of segments. And now before we write code for these two functions, I'm going to write code for this void loop. So first we need one integer, counter, set it to 0. So what I actually want to be my final result? I want to count from 0 to 9 repeatedly, and for that purpose I actually need this counter. So first thing in void loop, what we are going to do, I'm going to call filter, and I'm going to provide counter, so this is actual number that is going to be shown. And another part, it's about decimal point. So I want to turn on decimal point only if a number is even. So I'm going to write counter modulo 2 equals 0. So this code is going to produce true only if counter is even number. True and false. Alright, this is done, and now I'm going to deal with counter. If counter it's 9, reset counter. All right, else add 1 to counter, and I'm going to write delay of 1000 milliseconds. So basically we are going to count seconds. And now let's do those functions we defined. First I'm going to do turn off. And I'm going to copy this code because we are going to repeat it multiple times. And set state of I to false. Alright, this is done. Now I'm going to create void verify. I'm going to copy this for loop. And now we are actually going to do switching. So first we are going to check whether state on this index it's true or false. Okay, if it's true, I'm going to use digital write. 4 pins with exact the same index set to high, like this. Or I'm going to copy this part, low. So basically, if states holds true, we are going to write high. If states holds false, we are going to write low. And now we are going to do function filter. All right, so we need number and bool decimal point. Okay, make some space in here. We need a lot of space for this function. So first thing that I want to do, I want to turn everything off. And I'm going to use switch. And we are going to check for numbers. All right. Make some space. In first case, it's case 0. I'm going to use for loop. Int I equals 0. If I is less than, open brackets, size of nums, num0 here, divided by size of integer I plus plus. So now nums I num0 with index of I set to true, and finally break. So what this actually means, check this out. In case of number 0, 0 segment has to be turned on. So in this case, we are going to iterate through this list, and first element that is going to be turned on, it's actually first 0 element of num1 sublist, and that is actually number 0. And I'm going to do this exact the same process for all of other numbers. So I'm going to copy this part. And now I'm just going to fast forward this part. I'm just going to remove some of these empty spaces. And in here I'm going to add one more loop. If decimal point, meaning if decimal point is set to true, state 7 is going to be true, meaning we are going to turn on our decimal point light. I'm just going to remove these empty spaces. All right, so I believe that everything is fine. So now I'm going to upload this code. So let's try it. Now I have some typo, yeah, in here. Is there anything else? Well, nothing is happening because I forgot to call function verify at the end of this filter function in order to perform actual switching. All right. I'm going to upload this code once again, and now I hope that everything is going to be fine. Alright, I can see, but you cannot, that I made some mistake in here. Instead of 0, 1, it should be 1 and 2. So for number 1 should be segments B and C turned on. And once more, uploading. And now everything is perfect. So guys, next part I'm going to record with my camera so you could actually see what is happening. So as I promised, everything is just fine. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you have learned something interesting. So please like, subscribe, and see ya.